Welcome to the show. Hey, it's just a little after noon Eastern Standard Time. And yeah, hey, I'm in a different location. I'll tell you the story about that in a moment. Actually, a number of things have been updated. Actually, I'm thinking of using this location more often just because, well, this is downstairs. This is my studio area. But of course, if there are people photographing, it's going to be a little tough to actually record from here. Well, here's the deal. I dropped I dropped my ring light, the one I use upstairs in my office. So I have a new bulb ordered, but I didn't have any backups. So I have to record with natural light. And actually the natural light here in this back sunroom at the studio is really pretty nice. I updated the banner, you may have noticed, to the channel. Yes, we're still talking a lot of pricing. And we're still talking about the business of photography. Actually, that's more what we're going to be doing, the overall business of photography, the things they didn't teach you in school. That's really what I want to go with this. I mean, there's been great momentum on the pricing, but if I'm going to keep my momentum, I need to adjust this channel to make sure that I'm serving you, I'm serving me as a creator. And, you know, the other channel is doing very well, the marketing strategies channel. And I've been focusing a lot on that because I'm getting closer to 1,000 subs. But this channel keeps growing at a solid pace, even with the live show. But now that I have more business overall as a target for the photography community, I certainly will offer different types of videos and, of course, pre-recorded videos. It just gives me a lot more, I guess, latitude. And that's really what I'm looking for here, to keep when you just need that little bit extra to keep you going, that's what I needed. And so I'm feeling pretty good about it. We'll see how it goes as we move forward. But we have a topic today, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get into that topic. And that topic is why photography competition is irrelevant. Why is it irrelevant to you? Because here's just get to the bottom line. There is so much photography competition at such a high level that it doesn't matter anymore. It really doesn't matter. If you are going to follow people around and worry about what they are doing, you are wasting your time just not doing the things you need to do to plant the seeds, to find the clients that will pay your price and that will want to hire you because of your style. You have to not pay attention to those other photographers, even if they are using poor business practices. Just sit back and know that they're going out of business eventually. But the problem is there'll be many more coming. And so you're not going to stop it. I've seen a lot of photographers spend a lot of wasted time trying to stop this. Here's the one thing. This is the one thing that is true and has always been true. Photography continues to change. It continues to evolve. And the one thing that continues to evolve with each step in technology is that it makes it more accessible. Photography continues to become more accessible. So you need to, at the same time, understand that demand for photography has also become much, much higher. And there are more opportunities in photography than there have ever been before. In other words, different types of photography. Just 5 years ago, was drone photography a big thing? Was that part of, say, a real estate photographer's gear on a regular basis? No, not at all. A few select. I mean, I know a lot of photographers spent years of their life hanging out of airplanes and helicopters, and they don't have to do that so much anymore. So it's all changing, and it's always becoming more accessible. And you can take advantage of that too. But if you're continuously thinking, oh, I have my thing, this is what I do, and you try to fight it and you try to say, I'm always going to do it this way, not going to happen. It's always going to change. The one way I have continuously stayed relevant in my photography business is to continuously change and update. And I've made some connections with some companies in the last actually a couple of years related to some of the new types of VR and AR and how maybe that can fit into my business. I'm really seriously contemplating how I'm going to approach this. I've talked about it over the last few years, and I've even talked about doing something about it over the last few years. But at least it's been on my radar. At least I've been weighing it all along. And you should not consider these things as threats. If you consider the new technologies that are offering new opportunities as threats, chances are you're not embracing them in a way that'll allow you to take advantage of the new opportunities early in the game. You already have a foundation if you've been in business for a while. So you can add these things, combine these new technologies, new concepts to your portfolio, and then offer them to the community early on, because you don't have to learn the basics of photography. You just have to add something and combine it to your core. Where somebody who's just getting into the business is still trying to figure out lighting, which is fine. There's always going to be a new generation of photographers. So photography competition is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. Look around, see what's going on, use other photographers as inspiration. You know, this has been a theme of mine for a while now if you've been watching my work, and it's true. And it continues to be true, and it'll be true next year and the year after, because you have to go well beyond just good lighting, good composition, and basic photography if you're going to make it in the photography business. But even with that, you need to understand what this channel is all about, and that is the business of photography. So you can catch me, you can catch me right here, noon Eastern Standard Time on Fridays, and you can ask questions on, let's see, where can you ask questions? Well, a few places over at roshsillars.com. You can ask questions in the comments over there within the podcast, or you can catch me on Twitter at Rosh Sillars. So those are that's a great way to connect with me. You can also connect with me right here in the comments, or hit rosh.video. Just put that in the URL and that'll take you to the other YouTube page. Okay, so I have about 5 questions from you guys this week, and I'm looking forward to sharing them with you because there's some good questions here, and I might end up on a rant or two, but hey, that's what it's about. That's how we learn. And as you ask questions about how you can grow your photography business, years ago, I talked with a number of photographers who were getting into, say, the educational side of the photography business, trying to help photographers. And I, at the time, was doing a lot of business for photographers, as I do now and always have. And they're talking lighting and composition and different types. And they had some really interesting ideas, and I supported many of them. And they're concerned if they were going to make it. I say, you know what? There's going to be a continuous flow of people who want to know new lighting, posing, composition, all these techniques to make their photography better. They are going to, it's never ending. What is very limited, and I was pointing to me, is the number of photographers that care about the business side. It's a very small number, because who can blame people? They love photography. Photography to them isn't about a business. It's about creating great images and having fun with all the tools that are available to you. But those who survive understand the business side, and understand if you want to make a living as a photographer doing what you want to do, you have to understand the business. It's just that simple. Okay, the first question, explain per image pricing. Okay, so I've explained this a number of times, and there are videos, and I'm sure I'll continue to explain this many times in future shows. Per image pricing is a system that I use for pricing my photography, because I find it a much better way to go about pricing. Except for maybe events. Events, I do like using hourly rates, but for most portraits, architecture, food, I like to use per image pricing, because one, I want to make more money because of that, because I put the value on the image and not my time. And when I do that, I can be more productive and be paid better for my time, and cover all the costs, such as post-production and things like that I put into the value of that per image price. Because it's hard for customers or clients to see that, okay, you spent an hour with them, and then there are 3, 4, 5 times more than that afterwards, and they don't see that. And so they don't necessarily understand why you might want a really high hourly rate when they don't see, wow, that's pretty amazing hourly rate. I only make $25, $50 an hour, $12 an hour. How can you be making $100, $200, $300 an hour? That just doesn't make sense to me. But if you put the value on the image, based on the use of those images, it's a lot easier for them to understand that value. And also, when I do per image pricing, the client is in control of their budget. And so they know that if they have $1,000 to spend, they can purchase $1,000 worth of images, and often will purchase more because they see each image and they know the value of each image. And so it's worked for me. I can certainly get deeper into this with more questions, more detailed questions. I often do get those questions. You can certainly head on over to roshsillars.com and check out the pricing article where I get into it a little bit deeper. So, okay. When should I raise my prices? And I believe this is part of a conversation earlier related to, the right time, more of a time of the year kind of a question. And I often will say, look, raise your prices at the beginning of the year. It seems most natural for people. Let people know, especially even like before the holidays, if that's a big time. Where is the peak time of year for your photography? Maybe a couple months before that, let people know. So maybe May is your peak time. So you let people know, if you connect with me by April or by March 31st, you will be able to keep the current price system locked in, right? So you can play with it and make it a promotion element, and then give people the opportunity to maybe book you early or earlier than expected, get something off their plate. If you're in commercial photography, there are a lot of ways to approach this to make it a positive thing or a promotional element. But again, the first of the year is often pretty good way to go. Okay, let's see, is there a best time of year to start my business? Back on the time thing, no, there is not a best time of the year. I think the best time is now, and just start. Get out there. There is never a perfect time. The competition is not going to lower itself. Your photography skills aren't going to get to a level where it's just going to just out of osmosis happen. You have to take the time and make the effort to continuously try to improve what you're doing anyway, but to just get started and learn the lessons, because you don't know what you need to improve upon until you actually go through the process, until you actually, get it, figure out what it takes to get that client, and then go through the process of making them happy, and then follow up, and all the little elements from invoicing to the thank you card, all those elements you will not know or even take a look at to improve upon until you go through the entire process. And honestly, a friend knowing you have a camera and take some nice pictures, referring somebody to you, doesn't count. It just doesn't count. We'll all get those once in a while. I'm talking about you actually marketing to get additional clients, to put more, to pay the rent. I mean, that is an effort, and that is a skill level, and it's also a process that you need to have down. And thinking about it, planning it all out, give yourself a specific period of time to plan it. A week, 2 weeks, a month, that's fine. But you need to get started and put your shingle out there, get the website up. Don't wait for the website to be done. Get out there and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Make some cards with your photographs on them so you can hand them out, and do that in person. But you do need to be out there. But hey, having a website most certainly is an important part of the process too. And we can certainly talk more about that in future shows. If you, again, you can catch me at Rosh Sillars on Twitter or here on the YouTube channel. Okay. The next question, should I have insurance on my equipment? I think this is a pretty simple answer. Yes. And even some liability insurance. What if your equipment falls on somebody? What if somebody trips over a cord and gets really hurt? This is stuff that can happen, and I think you should be aware of. Don't think you're immune from this stuff. It can happen, and sometimes you get booked for maybe a wedding if you're a wedding photographer, or a big shoot, and you need liability insurance before you can even step foot into some of these locations. So it's important to have that. Usually it's $1 million, but some are going up to $2 million of liability these days. So it's something you need to consider as you move forward. At least at minimum, have an insurance agent at the ready in case you need to get a certificate the day before a big event, in case you need additional insurance. And that does happen, believe it or not. Okay, what is the key to developing this social media following? I think for the most part, it's activity. It's being engaged with those followers. I mean, the bottom line with social media is offer great content and information at the highest level you can, to the point in which till quality falls off. That's really what it comes down to. When qualities of what you're doing starts to fall, that is when you need to kind of pull back. So more tweets, the better. More Facebook posts, the better. But there's a point at which your quality is going to fall off. You're just going to be doing it to do it. That's like blogging every single day. And yes, it's better to blog every single day, but high quality stuff every single day. If the quality starts to go down, then you have a problem, and then you're not going to build the community. But a lot of times, just paying attention to the community alone will help in that process. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching in the replay. And I am looking forward to connecting with you in future shows as we continue to move and form and kind of mold this show. And as I start creating some videos just for this, some new videos. I mean, I have over 50 videos on here already. Many of them I created ahead of time in production, but we'll start doing some more in the coming weeks. Right now, again, my big focus is getting closer to that 1,000 mark this week. So I really do appreciate it. Talk to you next Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time.